Hi, this is Chen Wickwire with Pearsons Realty, and I'm doing part 2 in a buyer's guide in a competitive market in Northern Virginia. So I hope you watched the first video so that the second video makes more sense to you. So let's think about the offer situation. So buyers and sellers have opposite opposing goals. Think about that. So buyers should always keep in mind what sellers are looking for in order to make their offer more attractive. Buyers are wanting every single protection in place. Sellers are wanting no protections in place for you so that they can go to closing, have the highest amount of money, and have the least amount of headache, right? So keep that in mind. So besides the price, which is the most obvious way to make your offer attractive, there are the contingencies that we've talked about. So the first one is the home inspection. So instead of asking the seller for repairs in a multiple offer situation, you should at the least, at a minimum, be doing informational purposes only and voiding if you still don't like the results, but you're not asking the seller for any repairs. So that's at a minimum what you should be doing. Now, if you want to make it more attractive, you could just waive that contingency altogether and not do a home inspection at all. There is one other option where the realtor can add it at the end of the contract, and it says that the home inspection is not a contingency in the offer, but the buyer will still do the home inspection for informational purposes only. Okay, so, and then the second contingency we talked about was the appraisal. So either you can just waive it all together. Again, that is basically saying, let's say if the offer price is, $500,000 and the appraisal comes in however low it is, you're basically saying you are willing to pay the difference. Okay, so you should have some savings, just in case it comes in low. You never know. If you are really tight on your closing costs, down payment, things like that, that's probably not something you should be waiving. But if you have a little bit of a cushion and the realtor feels like it will, the comps will be right around what the list price is or what you've offered, then, you could feel a little bit more confident to waive it all together. Now, the middle ground for the appraisal is you can not waive the appraisal, but you could still say, I'm willing to pay X amount. Maybe it's $10,000, maybe it's $15,000. I'm willing to pay $10,000 in the event of a low appraisal. So let's say the offer price was $500, and let's say your appraisal comes in at $475, and you're still willing to pay $10,000 extra in the case of a low appraisal. That means you could still get the house at $485 and not have to pay the $500,000 offer price. So that is another way. Instead of just waiving it all together, there's a middle ground there for you as well. The finance contingency, again, if you can waive it, if your lender says they feel pretty confident, you're solid financially, you have a good amount of savings, your credit score, everything's good, and they're pretty confident the loan will go through, go ahead and waive that as well. So those are contingencies that you can waive in order to make your offer more attractive in a multiple offer situation. Another thing is a quick close. So why is a quick close important? It's because sellers want a guarantee within 30 days they're going to have their money. Maybe they need to buy another house when they sell this one, so they need to have that money in place. If you have a delayed closing, there's too much risk there's too much risk that something could go wrong. Like maybe the buyer will lose his job. Maybe he has some kind of health crisis. Maybe he passes away. I don't know, but it's too much of a risk. So that's why sellers will oftentimes want a quick 30-day close, and they would rather just rent back from you if they need extra time for them to find another house, or for whatever reason they're not ready to move yet. They'll want the 30-day close, and then they'll want to rent back from you. Another way to make your offer more attractive is if the sellers do need a rent back situation, try to give them a free rent back, or try to give them a very, very low daily rate, or where you also refund them their money should they leave earlier than the date that they proposed. So that's another way. And then one other way that you can make your offer more attractive is, don't do a pest inspection. Don't ask for a home warranty. Make it as clean as possible. And just FYI, brokerages are really not supposed to be doing those letters anymore, or they're not being encouraged, at least by mine, because they're saying it's a fair housing violation. Your pictures are on there, your description of yourselves, your family are on there, and due to fair housing laws, they're really discouraging them now. So I think those are some really good ways to make your offer more competitive. Price, contingencies, having a very clean offer. One other way, actually two other ways, is try to use a local lender. Some of these big banks are not able to close on time. They are opening your file 2 weeks into the loan process and finding out you're not qualified. And listing agents know this. Listing agents know that local banks are able to get the job done, and that they're able to reach the lender too if they need to. They like that. So if there's going to be a big bank versus a local lender and all things are the same, they're going to encourage their seller to pick the local lender. So that's another important thing. I hope this video was helpful, and please feel free to reach out to me for any questions. I'd love to work with you. I love working with first-time home buyers, people moving to Virginia for the first time, relocating here, people that have to sell their house, buy another house. All of you guys, I would love to work with all of you. So please give me a call, 703-625-4779. Hope this was helpful. Thanks.